Everything I'm going to share tonight, I'm going to ask that you access through your heart, not just through your mind. That way it goes a little more direct. And so even if you don't understand some of the concepts, which may be a little radical for you tonight, and for some of us, that's just going to be total home base, everything I'm saying. But this is an exploration, and all of us will find our common unity by accessing the tone of the feeling state that you're experiencing right now. And so I invite this experience to be not just me talking, but that deeper and deeper we go into the overtones and the undertones of the field that all of us are helping to co-create tonight. So that's the permission I'm giving you right now, is all of us are becoming what I call a tube torus, or a generative field in which each of us are contributing. And we got to feel it tonight. It's like we are the drop in the ocean and the ocean in the drop. There's a part of all ancient traditions that have always talked about the eternal, the divine that is before all of creation, and that we're all, in a sense, here to eventually and finally come to a place where we go into that transcendent, maybe vertical axis to become that place before creation, to become beyond everything that was ever created. We would call that the eternal, right? And so throughout history, that's where our focus has been. Thousands of years, extraordinary religions, incredible spiritual traditions that have each found their own way to tunnel into that idea of that we're here to eventually transcend the system and go back into the omnipresence that is never born and never dies, the Alpha and the Omega. Well, I would say that that is where we have been focusing in our past. And where we are going now is, instead of making our direction one with the eternal, we're actually shifting that direction and saying that we are now becoming one with the evolving. One with the evolving. The evolutionary matrix that had us perfectly seeded into the fertile soil 15 billion years ago, that actually the divine blueprint of who we are at that level was not something static or stagnant or just connected to the infinite and all that is before creation, but actually each of us as divine and unique blueprints and fractal emanations of that evolving God essence are now coming online, because the codes within us are actually waking up in an unfurling process, and it's spiral by nature and it's fractal by nature, which means from the microcosm to the macrocosm, there's emotion. And all of that motion is a devotion from the oneness, from the all that is beyond creation. But that creator is exquisitely utilizing us to be the crest of the wave of an evolutionary design that is so magnificent and so tantalizing for each of us when we wake up to our preciousness, the unique spark that each of us are. And when that happens, and that can only happen when we actually believe it, that we are truly precious and unique. How would you live your life if you knew it through every cell of your body that you were the most precious gift that ever was created? That the uniqueness of your soul was something that you are here to steward for all of creation. I mean, can you think of when we do that shift and we go inside and we go, my gosh, I'm holding within me the miracle of life, really. The miracle that actually has access to the infinite intelligence and the whole grand design of the cosmos, that the cosmos is encoded in us and is ripening now through you. That's something pretty special that you're stewarding. You now, if you're ready to commit to it, have become a steward of life. Just as Creator created, you are also stewarding the God spark. You're stewarding that ultimate quintessential life spark. And that is what I'm calling the divine blueprint. And each of you have a unique divine blueprint. That's why I said it's not a static carbon copy for each of us, although we have the wholeness within. But that wholeness that you are, you're a wholeness navigator, meaning only you have your own unique path that is set to explode with your own radiance and magnificence when you actually start to own that preciousness inside. Sometimes these kind of concepts, they seem a little grand and outrageous, but all of life is pretty outrageous if we really get in tune with it. And so we're living from this place where if we're going to contact that almightiness that we really are, that we actually were seated with the destiny to uncover, and our whole life's design was literally to uncover our specific encoding, that actually we're inhabiting the awakened mind from the divine. We're a vessel of that incarnating divinity. And something sets into motion when we make a deeper and deeper commitment. That's part of what we're going to do as the meditation part at the end, is make a commitment to our evolutionary contract. And part of you, some of you might be saying, what contract? I don't know anything about a contract that's connected to something besides me, just making the best of my life, living with the principles of virtues and having God in my heart. Yeah, all of those. And this evolutionary contract happens when we get in line with the part of us that can realize that the evolutionary design really has all of itself backing you up. And that's pretty amazing when we start to come into that realization and when we allow that level of the chalice of our being to become that receptive. We're here on the full moon. We understand through many traditions that the moon represents ultimate receptivity. It's just really this extraordinary receptive body, celestial body, that is functioning as just purely a receiver of light and then a radiator of it. Well, we're the same thing. We're absolutely the same thing as this full moon coming into bloom right now. The way to access this, that's maybe the question, right? How do we truly get in tune with this experience? Some part of me, while we were going through the gong process, had an experience that was very much a death and a birth. And I've got this feeling that a lot of you are having more and more experiences where you're feeling like some part of you is having to die or go through a process of what might seem at one point a dark night of the soul, or might seem like, holy moly, I don't even know who I am anymore. And if you're in that place, congratulations, you you made it to the place where you want to be, actually. And what we're getting very comfortable with, this is actually one of the most essential skills to have, is getting comfortable with ego death. Right? I mean, that's how superconductivity happens, when we get out of the resistance of what just innately is part of the process of the evolutionary spiral. An evolutionary spiral doesn't just go, yep, I made it, okay, I'm really happy here. You know, no need to go any farther. This is like great platform. I feel comfortable. The evolutionary spiral requires you to continually die and be reborn. So getting comfortable with death actually means getting comfortable with a never-ending birthing process. And if you understand that the divine human, or that which is the divine blueprint in you, is not just seeded and encoded in you for your own profound, magnificent grandeur of a journey back, forward to home, the infinite within you, but think of the chalice again, and I want you to do something right now with me. When we just open ourselves up and we're just asking for that divine light to come through us, some beautiful things can happen, right? But what happens when we recognize that our greater self and what enlightenment really is actually becoming more and more aware that our self-identity is bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger than we could even imagine, and encompasses this whole group, and encompasses all of humanity, and encompasses the Gaia matrix that is helping and evolving and birthing with us, and encompasses all the races, and encompasses the solar system, the galaxy. That we actually, the chalice that we were, which is already pretty amazing, we, bringing down incredible light. But every time we actually open up the whole chalice of our being to encompass the entire world, all of humanity, I guarantee you, when you sit in that place, you're going to, just torrents of divine light are going to come through, because you took the small self that was wanting to be just a chalice, and you actually said, I'm all of this, and I'm holding all of humanity as my greater self. I'm holding all of humanity as my inseparable awakened heart in this moment. And that opens up more capacity for God, for the divine, to actually flow through us, and will become quicker, deeper, faster. And that's what I'm calling your evolutionary design turning on to a next level, is when you get in touch with that greater sense of the identity becoming bigger and more, and daily dying to the little self, daily dying. I won't even call it little, because you are incredible and perfect in this moment, and tomorrow, if you're willing and ready, you are going to become bigger. And you are going to become more than who you were today. And that is where we want to be. That's really the divine blueprint, is something that, just like DNA, and it is encoded in our DNA as part of our genetic blueprint, it is this process of unraveling, and it's a process of coming into resonance with the other divine blueprints that are all being seeded into the planet right now, which is, take a look around, all of you generating a bigger and bigger field of this massive divine blueprint, yes, created in the image and likeness of the divine, which is not a static experience. The divine is an ever-evolving principle, and so never does it have a final resting point. And that's what kind of scares us. If we look into it, we're like, whoa, it's not only big, it's actually undefinably generating itself to become bigger and greater every moment through you. So a part of the practice of receiving or igniting or accessing, I think it was called Accessing the Divine Blueprint was what the title for the day, was we ask, how do I bring that part of me online? And that's exactly how he brings his online, right? He knows the principle of the spiral. Just keep spinning around and following his joy. Yeah, so first, to find out who and discover who we truly are, we kind of have to first discover who we are not, right? And what I mean by that is, what a blessing that you were born in a certain place through certain parents in an incredible, beautiful and unique culture, and were raised in a society that taught you just beautiful preferences for what you think you're supposed to like and dislike, right? And this is the part of me I was going to say too, with the death and birth part, what I was completely having a full death-birth experience through the sound tonight. It was just amazing. And one of the moments I had was that moment in the Matrix when Neo unplugs. And he discovers everything that he thought was real was actually part of an incredibly intricate, fabricated program that was not him. Wow, what a wake up. And I hope everybody's at least seen that at some point in their life, so that we have this archetype to really, it's a simple thing. It says a whole book when I just go like this, right? Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. And so that process, that's what needs to be happening also daily, because not only do we have to unplug from our social cultural imprints and all the systems and beliefs, not only just from what were taught in our childhood, but we're getting bombarded daily with great new offers and opportunities from the collective matrix at large to subscribe to this. Like literally, subscribe to this belief system. Check it out. Try it out. Well, that's fine. Try it out. But try it out from a place where you are so in touch with the sovereign singularity of who you already are. And so then you're asking, well, how do I get in touch with that? But what I'm saying is, in order to do that work of clearing what I would, shadow work, it's really being coherent enough inside of us and authentically trusting that we already have encoded within us our unique and precious gift, like I had said, that is the most amazing miracle ever and does not need anything outside of you to actually reflect back how beautiful you are, or try on a different program that might perfectly resonate with the fractured wound that your father might have given you when you were 5 years old. And all of those things, those are the things that we then become susceptible to then trying on these new paradigms and systems. And the beauty of where we're at right now, the beauty literally right now, is the spiritual unity movement is recognizing all of those faiths as part of a wholeness. And none of them have the whole answer, right? None of them. And in fact, I might dare to say, all of them have been fractured, some from very close to their origins, but most of them from then how they evolved and went through all the thousands of years of programming too by limited belief patterns of those humans that wanted to dominate the traditions and keep them in a certain pattern of tradition, right? So what I'm saying is, each of the things that we have been taught and learned that even was a positive thing, we also have to look at. We also have to question. We have to be ready in every moment to drop all of the onion layers. Here we are in the onion. And what we find at the very core of that is an alchemy that nobody else can show you. And the alchemy is that every single element that you need to turn yourself into a light body, to wake up the divine blueprint inside of you, to become an incarnating deity almost in form. Yes, I'll be so bold to say that, because each of us are that God spark, and when we access that, we're going to be bringing online something that then gets in tune with the evolving of the whole species. Because you did not just come here to wake up yourself. In fact, that's actually an impossible thing because you're inseparable from the whole. And so when we start to reorganize and reorientate that, I'm here to evolve myself until I become, one with that enlightened state. And we actually start to flip that all the way inside out. And at the same time, realize that everything that you are doing, every time you make a progression and move towards your innermost core self, that you're actually sparking something for the whole. And this is the immense project that is happening on the planet right now. There is no evolution that's happening without you. You are that wave. You are that wave. And if we also say that Gaia is evolving, right? Gaia is part of our, let's rephrase that. We're part of Gaia's body, but we have Gaia in us. We have Mother Earth in us. We have the principle of nature's extraordinary intelligence wishing to do something with us. And really, it's never just your story. That's what I want to say. Nothing is ever just your story. It's the human story. Like, live mythically. Live with the knowing that every time you make an expansion inside, like, release that wave to everybody. Release that moment where you actually hit the membrane of the pressure of what you didn't think you could finally birth out of and shed and die. That was encoded in you specifically, not just for your soul's evolution, but when you penetrate out of that limited belief system, that wound, that trauma that had organized a whole, onion layer around you that you had been living in for 10 years. Or maybe just one day, something that you started thinking about yesterday and it really got you in a funk, and because it resonated with something from 10 years ago. Here's what I invite you to do. Every time that you liberate yourself with one of those aha moments, like, infuse that into the whole collective. Know that you just game changed your own evolution and that you are rippling that out into the world. And that's understanding that you are an emissary. Each of you are an ambassador for the whole species. You're ministering the species towards its fruition every time you make your own leap. That's living from the evolutionary contract. That's what I was saying. We'll get to that. How much time do I have? Can somebody give me a feeling for that? 5 more minutes before I go into the meditation part? Okay. All right. Okay. So there was a time that I talked about this word alchemy. And we've all heard this word, alchemy. Really, this is an alchemical moment together. And so I'm going to bring you back into that field with me right now. And understand that the level of your awareness that you're bringing to this moment, how much your coherent heart is online with co-creating this frequency right now with me, that's your level of being an alchemist in this moment. Because you're contributing. You're contributing with your alchemical awareness that together we're this fusionary intelligence that's in right now, in a moment of attempting to become something bigger than the sum of its parts. And living life from an alchemical standpoint is really an utterly tantric experience. Does anybody not know what the word tantra means?
Tell us anything.
Thank you. So, what I would say tantra is actually, it's a very radical thing, and we've heard about it in a more sexual conversation. We all know, though, hopefully, that there are deep, radical spiritual roots, and the foundation to tantric practice is basically understanding that the universe at large is this full-on engine of the divine that's winding up all the time and becoming more and more self-aware. Wow. Self-awareness, amazing. You're one of those units becoming self-aware that you are God, a unit within its own self as God, the particle within the wave, the drop within the ocean. That's your incredible journey, that's everybody's journey. The way of living tantrically is to recognize everything in your life, your universe, everything can be a vehicle for you to wake up more to your own divinity, and not from a place of that you're separate from this incredible Kundalini, God-infused engine called creation. So to live tantrically is to actually use everything that comes into your life as a way to leverage the self into a deeper surrender, a deeper space of going, and this is God too. Oh, and actually God is using me perfectly right now because all I need to do is simply know that this moment is a vehicle for my own awakening. And for the awakening of the whole planet. Yes, the whole planet, wow. Are you ready to own that? That's really the question. Are you ready to own that you are a vehicle for the awakening of the entire planet? So, living from that place, even the most challenging moments, the most mundane, can become that access point perfectly. That just amazing pinpoint needle through all the way into a deeper space of your tantric union, your incredible conspiring divine lovemaking with the whole universe. And that's a turn on. It should be. It should be that you are using everything to turn you on more. Not just sexually, but understanding that the whole universe is sensual by nature, meaning it's relationship centered. Everything is relationship. So how are you bringing yourself into a deeper relationship with the all that is, and with that God spark that you're here to steward? Right. So, feels like about all right. So now we're going to go into turning on that divine spark. And remember, why would we want to turn on that divine spark? Oh yeah, not just for my own exalted, reverent, humble experience of becoming one with the divine, but to become part of that wholeness and holiness of unifying self with the global outreach of all the other beings, especially right now and through this weekend, who are connecting to the full moon ceremony, that this is a moment where we really are plugging in our heart, which is really the centrifuge, the center of the incarnating vessel that you are to become the divine. It all is here. It all starts here. And this heart is interconnected with the whole in ways that, of course, cannot even be fathomed through the mind. But remember, feeling is a frequency, and all frequencies are connected. And so let's join together with that unified field of frequency, with the evolving journey of humanity. Homo sapien becoming Homo divinicus, the divine human. I invite you now to close your eyes as we turn down the lights, maybe even. Is that possible? Yeah. Closing the eyes to turn on the inner visionary eye, to see the inner jewel that you are here stewarding, the most precious gift, God-given miracle. First, we feel the nectar of that essence self. And I and we are invited to be breathed by the divine. That means our relationship with our breath in this moment now becomes one in which we are feeling we are being breathed, not that we are the one breathing. Breath becomes circular. Breath translating light into your life and life into light again. Light into life, life into light. Alchemy of divine intelligence becoming manifest as you. The union of all opposites. We penetrate now to the innermost heart chamber to become one with the heart of Gaia, Mother Earth, just by our intention, just by this breath here. Oh, divine empathy and compassion, sparking open the radical, liberated heart that knows only how to open to everything equally. The tone of equality. I am one with all creation. The tone of equality. Resounding. Living from this place as if all encounters are the rarest gift. Every being around you and through the world is also the rarest gift. We connect. And we see through the eyes of the Creator. We penetrate into the essence found within all life. All of life. Divine innocence restored. The only way through is with this level of innocence. Holy, we quiver with that innocence. Another way of saying we are all the Immaculate Conception. World healing is really world holing. We whole ourselves as we yoke like the egg being cracked open, our golden light spilling and interpenetrating with that primordial sea of consciousness, primordial ground of the evolving Mother Earth and her evolving species waking up as Homo Divinicus, divine humans together. From this place, from this holy ground of being, of total knowing of your own essence, self, as whole and complete. I'd like for you to make a profound commitment to your own evolutionary process. To go all the way in this lifetime, all the way. You have radical support for this commitment, this opening. In fact, the whole universe has been waiting for you to commit deeper to this evolutionary process. Through you, right now, as you make this evolutionary commitment, you are reinstating the most ancient of contracts of your soul's incarnation. Everything is reorientated. All of your purpose and existence now reorientated towards this, to evolve the species. Your inherent design as an alchemical agent in a planet-wide process of awakening. The fully awakened heart. And like that celestial body of the moon, you too are a celestial body, incarnating on the earth, now fully as you wake up your evolutionary design, are now reflecting, rippling, radiating, illuminating, flooding the entire planet. Let us ride that wave all the way through. An unending spiral. Bringing all of humanity with our rapture, with our wake. As one evolving body. See the perfection of the future species that we are becoming. A unified field. Saturate in that presence. Divine breath of the divine breath, divine breath. Oh, you are the circulatory system of the divine. You are the connective tissue of the body of God, of the body of the planet. This breath, as you breathe it in, this deep breath right now, is infusing the whole of creation through you, and now in the out-breath you are liberating the codes, the alchemical codes for the upgrading of humanity to its most pure potential. Thank you for being one, being part and one with this world healing ceremony. Thank you for your presence within the body of this evolving entity. And thank you for receiving me tonight and receiving yourself for a little deeper, hopefully. And I'm so grateful for your participation. We truly do make a difference. Like I said, every time we spark open something in our own heart, it's like a flint. It ignites the bigger fire.